One horsepower is something you see quite a lot around East Cape, and more so as you head further north. In case you didn't watch the previous video, we made this trip in October-November 2021. Sunday morning the weather wasn't up to much, so we had a walk on the beach, some lunch at a cafe and a garden centre, and relaxed the rest of the afternoon. The weather cleared later in the day to a beautiful evening, as you can see from the sunlight on the waves and the reflections in the flat water. The next day was the day to drive from Wainui Beach up and around East Cape to Wainui Bay on the northern side of the Cape. The reason I say on the northern side is because there is also a Wainui Bay on this side, which we will visit along the way. In a straight run all the way through, it'd be a bit over 3 hours, 3.25, but we did a few detours and walks along the way, so it took us a leisurely 9 hours. Come along and enjoy the journey. It is a beautiful morning this morning, the 1st of November, and Kathy and I have walked up Makarori Headland, which is just north of Wainui Beach, really, kind of the northern end of that long stretch of sand. And so this is the view in part, and we're going to head over here. You can see Wainui Beach in the distance over there. And whether you heard that cock pheasant or whether you can see there's a gannet out in the water there searching for his second breakfast. The weather is supposed to turn not so nice towards the end of today, which is why we're heading up the East Cape side today, because by the time we get to Wednesday it's not very nice on this side. I'm unsure whether those little black dots down there are surfers or seals or what they are. No doubt we'll figure it out when we drive along that bit, which is where we go next.
I'd rather wander around.
And so here's a little bit of the walk in the bush, for want of a better term. It's a bit scrubby, but it's pretty with the sun coming down through, the dappled light. A bit of bird life in here, and I've heard cock pheasant in the distance as well, which is obviously not endemic to New Zealand, but still nice to hear them about. So the walk up the hill we did is on that side of the road, and then on this side of the road is this, which we're about to head into now. It's supposed to be about a 20-minute walk. Let's see what we find. Be quite a nice spot here for a picnic or whatever, just the traffic noise would be a bit of a pain. But so that's a fantail. You can hear a little bird sometimes singing. It's very high pitched, sort of a sound. It's a grey warbler. not the fantail. But he's going to go silent on me now. There's a beautiful tree here. Pudakawa, I think. And it's just starting to, won't obviously be flowering yet, that happens around Christmas time. The fantail quite likes us being here because we're disturbing the bugs on the ground, which it's then chasing down. Again, as is often the case in New Zealand, you get this beautiful dappled light when the sun is shining coming down through the trees. It's certainly a well-maintained track, which you would expect because I imagine it's pretty popular, being so close to Gisborne and Wainui. And this stream will be a bit of a torrent when it's, goodness me, there's an engine block sitting down there. How that got there. And so they've got steps all the way up here. So, nice. This is the view from the lookout and the walk, which is going to slowly disappear as these pudakawas get taller. And we can now look across and see where we walked up to on the other side. Now we can walk back down again. So these were the little black dots. They are hopeful surfers and paddleboarders. But they're really a bit hopeful, I think. There's not much surf there today. Probably tomorrow when it goes easterly there will be. We're heading down to that little bay down there. It's been kind of 4 k's of gravel road down the hill, up and down so far. But absolutely beautiful spot down here. And we've just driven past, we've got a little bit of tar seal on the road just where we are. And it looks like there's a lodge or something. You can just see the pointy top of it there. We've got the view straight out. This is Wainui Bay. As you can see, it's quite crowded today. And there's a fearsome little dog down there who doesn't want us to go that way. That water actually looks quite delightful, but I'm not going in. After a bit of a paddle in the water, meaning getting the feet wet but nothing much else, and a picnic lunch in the car, our next stop was Tolaga Bay. Once upon a time, this was a thriving town back when sheep meat and wool exports were at their peak. The wharf, which you're about to see, was the hub of the activity for transport in and out of this area, and it served the many sheep stations of the area. They were the mainstay of the local economy, which was also true for much of New Zealand at that time. We are now at Tolaga Bay, and there's one thing that Tolaga Bay is particularly famous for, and that's its very long wharf, which I don't think is used commercially anymore. So we're going to go for a walk out there. So as you can see, the wharf is quite long, and it has railway tracks down the middle that were once used obviously to transport stuff up to the boats. The wharf's actually not in a very great state of repair. As you can probably see, there are various pieces of wood strapped against the concrete on the sides to try and strengthen it to some extent. Quite a number of the piles and things sort of holding it all up are also quite dodgy, so nothing of any weight is allowed, or significant weight anyway, is allowed to go down here at all. So the headland here is quite impressive, and I'm assuming that they built the wharf right next to it here so that it's protected from the swells coming up the coast. We are now at the end of Tolaga Bay Wharf. As you look behind me, you can see it's actually quite an enclosed bay. It's not far across to the other side there, so ideal for a wharf really. So if I swing right around, that's the other side of the bay. It's quite windy out at the end here. And then we come around further, and here's the other headland on the other side. And if I swing right around, you can be able to see down the wharf. There we go. So now that we've said we've got to the end, we'll walk back again. Won't we, Kathy? Waiting in a queue because there are roadworks. So I've turned the car off and opened the window, and here's the view. Not a bad place to stop when you're waiting for roadworks. A couple of paradise ducks down here having a little snack. We turned off the main road again to head down to Anura Bay. This is one of those roads where there is an increasing level of excitement as you descend, and you can see the waves on the seashore, especially on a beautiful day like this. There are so many bays like this up around this coast. We only stopped at a couple because of time constraints, but I would love to come back another time with a caravan, camper, and spend at least a week working our way up here. There is a campground at Anura Bay that is right on the beach. It would be a wonderful place to bring a caravan and spend some days chilling. You can, if you prefer, travel further north on this road to the Department of Conservation camp, if that is your preference. The sand here was particularly beautiful, and was squeaky when you scuffed your bare feet over it. That brought back childhood memories. We have just had a brief stop and we saw some dotterels. I can't tell you what sort of dotterels because they were too far away and we didn't want to disturb them, but there's a bit of a nesting area here, and there are also oyster catchers, which we didn't see, but we did see some herons and cormorant. But it's a lovely bay. So now we'll head back to the main road and carry on our journey northeast. We have stopped at Tiki Tiki just because of this Māori church that is here. It's quite amazing. As Kathy's pointed out, somebody has lovingly crocheted cushions for all of the seats. And there you've got all the weaving on the walls and the carving on the end of each of the pews. It's quite beautiful as the building goes. We were starting to run out of day by the time we turned off Highway 35 at Te Araroa to head out to East Cape. Once we returned to Te Araroa, we still had another almost 60 kilometres to Waihau Bay. It is a reasonable but enjoyable drive out to the East Cape Lighthouse. The first part is all sealed, and then when you get to drive along the cliff edge, it's gravel. Some drivers may be a bit daunted by this bit of road, but I learnt to drive on gravel roads and farm tracks, so it doesn't really faze me. I quite enjoy them actually. You just need to be focused. East Cape Lighthouse is the most easterly lighthouse in the world. There's a small island off the coast, which unsurprisingly is called, drumroll please, East Island. I think the main reason that this part of the road is gravel is because whenever there is a significant weather event, parts of it drop off into the sea, or parts of the cliff face above it drop down onto the road and then into the sea. As you drive along, there is ample evidence of where the road used to be. Not a section of road to be driven when there is a cyclone coming through. The hill that you can see straight ahead is where the East Cape Lighthouse is situated. It's towards the other end of the hill. The walkway up the hill goes through private land, and the entrance to the track is 100 metres or so back from where the road ends and the car park and the toilets are situated. Because there was, quite literally, no one else around, we actually parked on the grass opposite the gate for the entrance to the walk. Please always remember to leave gates as you find them. There were quite a number of friendly horses in the paddock that we walked through, and as you will see, some even more friendly black Labrador puppies that stayed with us all the way to the top and back again. This is the start of the walk up to the lighthouse at East Cape, but I'm not sure, can't see it at the moment, but we'll get there. But this little fella's quite cute. Hello. That's where we're going. Apparently there are 800 steps once we get there, but we haven't got there yet. I don't think this is part of the 800 steps either. But anyway, up we go. Fortunately I have a brace on my ankle, so that'll help, at least the right ankle. And yes, I am puffing already because I was trying to eat chocolate and walk at the same time. Greeted us down the bottom. They've decided they want to come too. I'm wondering if they do this every day with anybody that comes up here. This is a good sign. We're at 150 already. What do you think? Can you read those? Are they 150?
Excuse me, sweetheart. You're right.
So huffed and puffed. Beautiful little flowers just beside the steps here. And we still have puppies. Lots of manuka, or it might be kanuka, I don't know which, up here, and nikau. Nice big nikau there. And the kanukas growing up here. And a puppy growing down here. Quite a few of the natives are flowering already. I've noticed quite a few of the cabbage trees flowering, and there was some flax further down that was flowering. Here I am, having a rest part way up. Me and my two mates here. Of course, as soon as I sat down, they not pounced upon me, but said, "Give me a cuddle, give me a rub, say hello to me."
Hello, friend.
Just to show you which way the wind blows from, to one or the other. Nearly there, I think. I look at the view. And there it is. We came from down there somewhere today. way in the distance there. Once we were back down on the grass, we were pleased to see the puppies head off over towards the house, where there was an unrelated older dog who took up puppy minding duty. Once back at our wagon, we drove straight through to our destination at Wainui Bay. I will end this video here and pick up the next one in this series with our arrival at Wainui Bay. We had an eventful few days there as a result of a storm that we knew was coming through. More on that in the next video.
Back into the sun.
And now we're coming back down again. That's a fantail you can hear squeaking in the trees. And we're back to number 150. Look what's here. A little house.